Hello, TheLadyKeziah here. I hope you've watched my video on the marriage certificate, why we shouldn't treat it as a title deed, but rather see it as the opening of a bank account. You have a bank account, so you understand that video the more. Getting married is like opening a bank account. It's the daily deposit of kindness that makes the marriage beautiful or makes it miserable. And on one of the points, I think point 3, I said, why becoming more matters. In order to do more and give more in a marriage, you would have to become more. If for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, you are still giving the same version of yourself to your partner, you are messing it out. So this video seeks to explore why becoming more matters. There is no way you can do more and give more if you don't become more. And if you are not becoming more, if you are not evolving, what are you giving to your partner? So why becoming more matters to your own life and to that of your partner. Okay, becoming more gives capacity, vitality, and the overflow. It is what you have, out of what you have, that you be able to pour to someone else. Capacity. As you grow in emotional intelligence and self-awareness, your capacity to handle your partner's flaws increases. Yeah, because no one is perfect. I'm not asking you to endure gibberishness, no. But some things you need the emotional intelligence and self-awareness to address them, okay, to handle them. And if you are not growing in capacity, you can't stay in marriage. So becoming more means intentionally you would grow in emotional intelligence and in self-awareness for yourself, so that you end up being able to handle your partner's flaws as increases. Okay. Vitality. You see, personal growth brings new energy into the home. If there's no energy, if the marriage is stale because there's no new energy, chances are you both are not growing. Yeah. Personal growth brings new energy into the home, into your own life, and it is who you are that you give unto your partner. So once there is new vitality, new growth in you, definitely that is what you will give to your partner too. A person who is learning, evolving, and becoming is a fountain, not a drain. And number 3, just like I said, the overflow principle. You cannot pour from an empty cup. To give more kindness, you must cultivate more kindness within yourself. If you can treat yourself well, I wonder how you can treat another human right. Okay, to do more for the partnership, you must first develop the strength to carry the weight. Okay, so yes, to become more is to transition from a mindset of maintenance to a mindset of mastery. If marriage is a garden, you cannot expect a harvest if you only watered it on the day you brought the seed or bought the seeds. The same way, if you want a lifetime thriving marriage, relationship, love life, why do you just view the marriage certificate as the end of it all, instead of seeing it as the beginning and investing into it daily? Anytime you hold your marriage certificate, what comes to your mind? You have the person, you own him or her. No. You might own them because they are with you physically, but emotionally, they can give up on you. Spiritually, they can give up on you. And physically, they can equally give up on you. Okay? So don't see marriage as a title deed. If it is a garden, if marriage is a garden. If it was to be a garden, can you say just because you bought the seedling, just because you brought it home and planted it and only watered it that day, it's supposed to grow for 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years? How possible is that? Yes. Let's begin picturing our life, our relationships in pictorial images and see how funny they would look. You brought a flower home, watered it that day, and that's the end. You want it to grow beautifully for you because you paid for it. No, it won't work like that. In no time, it will dry up and die. Growth within a partnership is a dual track process. What did I say? I said it's a dual track process. Some of you have been socialized to just go receive, 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 receive. As for a woman, you have to receive, receive, receive. If wherever it's being poured from, it is only pouring and pouring and pouring without receiving anything back in return, the time comes that also gets empty. And the same thing applies. When a woman pours and pours and pours, a time will come she can't pour from her emptiness. So she will stop pouring, and that will be the end of that relationship. Growth within any partnership is a dual track process. It's a dual track process. It goes and it comes. You grow for yourself so that you can have surplus to offer the relationship. And here is how to cultivate that personal expansion and ensure those daily deposits are meaningful. Okay. Number 1, expanding the self. You've been told 1 + 1 in marriage is still 1. So to you, you have to see things the same way, live the same way, do things the same way. Then one is pretending and one is not growing. Expanding the self, they become more strategy. This is individual thing. Before you can give more, you must broaden your internal landscape. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being evolving. Emotional literacy, learning to name your feelings. And you be now for them, you tell them as you say, you tell them your peace of mind. No, you should be able to name your feelings. Example, distinguishing between anger and exhaustion prevents you from making unfair withdrawals from your partner. Did you hear? Being able to distinguish between anger and exhaustion prevents you from making unfair withdrawals from your partner. Intellectual vitality, pursuing hobbies and interests outside the marriage. You've been told, let your partner be your friend, your Lord, your friend, your Lord, your provider, your preserver, your everything, a God, right? They will die and leave you behind. Pursue hobbies and interests outside the marriage. It makes you grow in intellectual vitality. Pursuing hobbies and interests outside the marriage ensures you remain a person of substance. For you, all you have is your marriage. No, you don't have a life. No. A partner who is curious about the world brings fresh currency to the dinner table. Self-regulation, the ability to calm your own nervous system during a conflict, is one of the highest forms of becoming more. Some of you are waiting for someone else to calm your nervous system down. You are not growing. Until you get to a place in life where you can manage and regulate your own emotions, as a matter of fact, growth hasn't taken place in you yet. It doesn't mean you are perfect, but you should be able to manage and regulate your emotions. You should be able to be assertive without being aggressive. It moves the relationship from reactive to responsive. Number 2, the mechanics of daily deposit. Very, very critical. If the marriage certificate is the contract. These actions are the fulfillment of that contract. They must be intentional, because by nature, human beings tend toward entropy, disorder, when effort is removed. Everybody wants disorderliness, because then you don't have to be accountable, you don't have to be responsible. Yeah, they'll palm out, do as you please. Yes, that is what humans want. The same people who are misbehaving, the accepting dysfunctionality at one setting will move to another setting, and because there's a system that checks and regulates responsibility and accountability, they dare not be be irresponsible and unaccountable. Yeah, people want their freedom to do whatever they want if there is no system and if there's no order. Human beings enjoy entropy, disorder, when effort is removed. There is 5-to-1 ratio, which I've taken time to extensively explain in my Married Single book. Get a copy of the book, it will bless your soul. Okay, if you are going by even the wedding vow, for better for worse, why should your worse be worse, and one better, and you come back to worse? Whose daughter and whose son is supposed to sacrifice their life to endure that forever? Do you know what will be left of them? Better for and worse, better or for worse. And for you, you don't think your better moments are supposed to be more, so that even if the worst moments come in, you focus on the better and ignore the worst. For you, you capitalize on the worst. It is just worse, and then you throw in one better in there. For whose son or daughter to accept that kind of life? Number 3, the danger of relational debt. The danger of relational debt. When deposits stop. In the first video, I used the bank account metaphor. When deposit stops, you have already opened the bank account, so it's in your name. But when you don't deposit anything in there, can you hit your chest and say, I have a bank account with this bank? No. When deposits stop, debt begins to accumulate in the form of resentment. Should I repeat? When you stop making daily deposit into your love life, into your marriage, debts begin to accumulate in the form of resentment. Resentment is the interest charged on unexpressed needs and ignored kindness. Once a relationship is deep in emotional debt, even a grand gesture like an expensive vacation or a large gift often isn't enough to clear the balance. That's why people go on vacation, come back, and still nothing has changed. Your worst has been so much that the one better can't all of a sudden erase everything. This is because grand gestures are often seen as loans to cover up past neglect, indifference, resentment, microaggression, whereas daily kindnesses are equity that build lasting value. Number 4, the overflow, giving from abundance. When you are solvent within yourself, meaning you have handled your own healing and growth, your giving becomes effortless. That is who you are. That is the way you are living. And out of who you are also doing more and giving more, full stop. You no longer give to get, which is a transaction. You give because you are full, which is a transformation. That is when life becomes amazing, awesome, fantastic. That is when you can say you are in a meaningful relationship, marriage. A marriage doesn't fail because of lack of love. There are people still in the court for divorce who still claim they still love each other. Now the living together is a problem. But if you are not careful, they would have to sacrifice their soul for it. Yeah. So a marriage doesn't fail because of lack of love, but because of a lack of margin. When we are stretched too thin, we have nothing left to deposit. By becoming a larger, more resilient version of yourself, you create the margin necessary to be kind even when your partner is difficult. Did you hear? You create the margin necessary to be kind, to be responsible, to be accountable, to play your part even when your partner is difficult. You become the creditor of grace in the home. And as to how long you'll be able to endure that, you determine though. The Lady Keziah is my name. I'm a licensed psychosocial counselor and a transformative mindset coach. If you want to work with me, visit my profile. You will see my link there and book a session with me. We can become more, do more, and give more. In the comment section, let me hear what resonates with you, and get ready for my new book, The Married Single. Think about these things. Much love and blessings.